G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to do something a little bit different. Over the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, I have been collecting questions that I've been asked about being an Australian, and I'm going to do a video on the 21 most common questions you get asked as an Australian. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe. And let's get started with our first question. Okay, so we've got a question here, which is, why do Australians swear so much? Well, because we swear a fucking lot. It's really quite common to hear most people swearing in Australia. It's not a bad thing. It's I could do a conversation. It does depend on who you are and what kind of job you have, but it would be quite common to have a conversation where, "G'day, cunt, how are you, mate? I'm good, cunt. Yourself? Yeah, what have you been up to, cunt? Yeah, really good, cunt. How's your mum, cunt?" I don't know. We just do. Maybe it was the Irish influence. Why do Australian men like beards? That's something that I've noticed as well, and also moustaches. Australian men are lazy as fuck, and therefore we don't like to shave. Plus, it also costs a shitload of money to buy razors and shaving cream, and again, it's just a lazy habit that we have, so therefore we like to, I don't know, look rough. Is it true that Australian people don't like wearing shoes? Well, I don't have shoes on at the moment making this video, and yes, it is true. Why? I think it's just a freedom thing that a lot of people like to just, I don't know, have, well, maybe because in Australia we have things like, I don't know, grass and yards. So we can actually go outside our house and enjoy the soft grass in our feet, or we can go down to the beach and you don't have a needle in the beach. There's no trash on the beach. So we just like to have that feeling on the ground. Of course, it can get bloody hot in Australia. So we do have thongs, but yeah, it wouldn't be uncommon to see people down at the supermarket wearing no shoes. It wouldn't be uncommon to just leave your house, jump in the car, go down to the bottle-o, buy some beer and have no shoes on. That would be pretty common. Also, no shirt, particularly for women. Are the animals in Australia really that dangerous? Well, I'm 48 years old and I'm still alive. But yes, they're fucking dangerous. Don't fuck with them. How often do you come across a dangerous animal? Well, if you're living in the suburbs, maybe you'll see a couple of snakes a year, maybe 3 or 4. If you're really unlucky, you might get a couple of snakes in your house. Depends how you live your lifestyle. Most Australians leave their house open. So you will have a situation at some point where you're going to have a dangerous animal inside your house. As for kangaroos, can be dangerous, particularly the big ones, but generally that's during a drought. So kangaroos tend to come into the city when they're looking for nice grass. So if it hasn't rained for fucking 18 years, well, then you'll get more kangaroos inside. Spiders are an issue. Make sure you always check your shoes. Centipedes, that sort of stuff, we don't really care about them. We eat them for breakfast. Why do Australians drink so much? So, it's fucking hot. Is it true that Australians drink their wine out of a box? Yes, probably one of the best inventions ever made by humankind. that you can actually take 4 litres of goon to a party in a box, chilled down, and everybody can enjoy the sweet beverage. We call them goon bags or goon sacks. And the best thing about them is after you drink 4 litres of really, really shit wine, you can blow up the bag and you've got a pillow. Why do Australians have free barbecues? Why not? Isn't it great just to have a barbecue? Why do Australian parks have playgrounds for children that look like amusement parks? Well, we have lots and lots of parks in every suburb in Australia. Most of them are unused, but it's a good place to go and take drugs. It's a good place to go and make out. But yeah, most of the big new places have a really big playground for the kids because it's good to get the kids outside. That's why we don't want them to get fat or something. I don't know. Have I ever seen a crocodile? Yes, I've seen hundreds of crocodiles, and I've even seen a crocodile eat a shark. What is the most annoying thing about living in Australia? Probably the flies. The flies can get pretty bad, particularly if you go out into the middle of Australia. You can get some pretty bad fly action. I know everyone looks at the cork hat as though it's the most stupid thing in the world, but if you actually go out there, it's not a bad idea. Some people even wear like bee suits to go over because the flies can get right into the inside of your eye and yeah, probably the flies, particularly when you're having a nice barbecue. Blowies, we call. Why is Australian slang so hard to understand? It's not really hard to understand if you're Australian, but yes, we do have a lot of our own words for different things. But just like any other country, you have slang. If you go to England and you listen to Cockney or something, we understand that as well because we use a lot of that because there was a lot of that used 200 years ago. We just have our own words. We like to be lazy, so we shorten every word. So, we don't say Monday, we say Monday. We don't say afternoon, we say Arvi. And we just reduce everything down to the basics, so it's just, I don't know, laziness. How hot can it get in Australia? Well, it depends on where you are in Australia, but most places can get really bloody hot and so hot that it'll melt your shoes. You could crack an egg on the footpath and it will cook. You can crack an egg on your car and it will cook. So some places can get up to 50 degrees. If you're in the middle of Alice Springs, it can be oppressive. Cairns can be super oppressive with humidity. Even places that are cold most of the time, like Melbourne and Adelaide, when it hits, it hits. Particularly Adelaide can get super, super hot. And you always know when it's super hot because you'll see all the animals in Australia will be under the tree together. So you'll have a kangaroo, a bird, and a brown snake all sitting under a tree in the shade. That's how hot it can get. Is it illegal to smoke in Australia? It's getting there, getting very close to it. You can still buy cigarettes, of course, but you just can't smoke them anywhere. So you have to be, I don't know, 4,000 meters away from the nearest individual, and then you have to have a fire bloody hazard warning thing around you and put up a sign saying that you might actually excrete some carbon dioxide. Why is Australia so expensive? Yeah, good question. I want to know that as well. It's super bloody expensive. Every single thing, anything, and all things are super expensive. Probably one of the most expensive countries on earth. But you get quality. So you might, we have a saying in Australia, the more you pay, the better the quality. But our base quality is pretty good. Why is there no Starbucks in Australia? Because Starbucks coffee is shit. Why is the mullet so popular in Australia? Well, it's not as popular as you think, but yes, it is quite popular. Um, what do they say? Business at the front, party at the back. But I don't know, it's a cultural thing. Why does so many tourists go missing in Australia? Because they're fucking idiots. That's why, and they don't listen to the local people. If you travel to Australia, don't do anything, don't touch anything, and then watch what the local people do. If there's local people in the water, get in the water. If all the local people are sitting on the beach, sit on the beach. And if there's nobody in the forest, don't go in the bloody forest. There's a reason why we do this. Are there any mass shootings in Australia? Well, there was in 1996, I think the year, or 1998 maybe. 1996, the year I finished high school. And we had a big one, a massive one. We brought back all the fucking guns. And we made it really hard to get guns. And we have background checks and fucking all sorts of stuff so that you just can't fucking buy a gun. We haven't had one since. What are the police like in Australia? Police are pretty decent people in Australia, and therefore they get respect from the populace. Alright, only a couple of dickwads fucking every now and again will have a crack at a police officer, but most people respect the police and they respect us. When you get pulled over for a traffic offence or something like that, they go, mate, you were speeding. And we go, yeah, I know, mate, here's my licence. If you haven't done anything wrong, you can argue with them, they're not going to fucking shoot you. Alright, we treat our police, if a police officer was in trouble, the whole public would be there to protect them because they're there to protect us. So we have a lot of respect for our police. Alright, so this will be our last one. What is the tax system like in Australia? The tax is high. Okay, so we have our work tax, our employment tax, which is anywhere from 23 to 50%, depending on how much money you earn. But we also have GST, which is a goods and services tax, which is done on any goods and services. That's about 10%. I think it's only 10%. So pretty much every time you move, you're going to be paying some sort of tax. That's why it's so expensive. But also, that's why we live in the best place on earth. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave some more comments down the bottom, and I might do another question and answer video. Thanks for watching. Salada.